Hello guys, welcome back to another episode of Mimi Dollars collection. So today we are going to be making this beautiful handmade beaded bag. It's the same design but different styles. So please do not forget to like, share and subscribe. Straight up, let us dive into the video. Materials used. We are using sugar beads in 8mm. I'm using the blue. We are going to be using our crystal in 4mm, okay? 4mm. We'll be using crystals in 6mm. If you have 6mm all through, you can use just 6mm all through. Fishing line 0.7 for sugar beads. And for the crystals, I'll be using 0.6. You can use 0.5 or 0.4. And to fix my zip, I'll be using 100 pounds to fix the zip. And of course, my scissors for cutting. So let's dive into the proper tutorial. So this is all you need for the tutorial, okay? So we are going to start weaving our mat. I'll fix 4 beads into my fishing line. So I'm going to add 4 beads into my fishing line. I'll pick up the last bead and I'm going to cross it over and pull. I'll pull it. And I have my first ring done. I'm going to pick 3 beads. I'll add 1 on the right, 1 on the left and cross with the 3rd bead. So I'm adding 1 on my right hand, 1 on my left, and I'm going to be crossing with the 3rd bead and pull. So we have our second ring done. I'm going to pick 3 beads again. 3 beads, 1 on the right, 1 on the left, and I'll cross with the 3rd bead, okay? 1 on the right, 1 on the left, and I'm going to cross with the 3rd bead and pull. So we have our 3rd ring done, okay? We have our 3rd ring. Please make sure you're pulling your work. So we have our 3rd ring. This is it. We are counting the side beads, so I'm going to continue until I have 7 rings done. Okay, we have 7. As you can see, we have 7. So we are going to be doing the 8th line. So on my right fishing line, I'm going to pick all my 3 beads. I'll fix them on my right fishing line. Okay, I'm going to cross with the 3rd bead and pull. So cross with the 3rd bead and pull. So we have a total of 8 lines done, okay? So I'm going to begin the next line. On my right fishing line, I'm going to add my 3 beads. I'll add my 3 beads, cross with the 3rd bead and pull. Okay, my front fishing line will go into the next 1 bead in front. Into the next 1 bead in front. And on the back fishing line, I'm going to add my 2 beads and I'll cross with the 2nd bead. Cross with the 2nd bead and pull. So my front fishing line will keep going into the next 1 bead in front, and on the back fishing line, I'll keep adding 2 beads, okay? So I'm going into the next 1 bead in front, whilst on the back fishing line, I'll keep adding my 2 beads. And then I'll cross with the 2nd bead and pull, okay? So I'm going to meet you at the end. So we are at the end, all right? I'm going to go into the last bead. I'm going into the last bead. And with this same fishing line I inserted, my left fishing line, we are turning. I'm going to add 2 beads to that same fishing line. Okay, I'm going to cross it with the back fishing line or the right fishing line, and we have made it our turn. Okay, so we are going to begin the 3rd line. To begin the 3rd line, I'll pick my 3 beads. I'll add it to my right fishing line. and I'm going to cross with the last one. Okay, my front fishing line will keep going into the next one bead in front, whilst on the back fishing line I'll keep adding my two beads. Okay, so this is the third line. I'm going to continue weaving using the same method. All right, this is the third line we have made, so I'm going to continue weaving the same method, all right, until I have a total of 19 by 8. Okay, so this is the dimension I'm using, 19 by 8. If you want your design to come out beautifully, please select an odd number. Okay, so I'm going to count 2 on both sides. I'll fold it down. I'll fold it down. So 2 from the left side and 2 from the right side. So I'm going to fold it down like this. So the leftover or the entire body of the bag now is going to be 15. So please select an odd number. I know I'm saying so. So when you are fixing your design, it's going to come out beautifully. Okay, so we are going to close the base of the bag. To do so, get your fishing line and insert it into these 2 beads. The last bead from the bottom, the last 2 beads from the bottom. Okay, so we'll close this side. So on the left fishing line, I'll add my 2 beads, and I'm going to cross with the second bead and pull. So I'll cross with the second bead and pull. So we are still weaving our simple beaded mat. Okay, with my front fishing line, I'm going to go into the next one bead in front, into the next 1 bead in front. When I go into the next 1 bead in front, on the back fishing line, I'm going to add my 2 beads, cross with the second bead. Okay, we are still weaving a simple beaded mat, but we want to close the bottom part of the bag. Okay, so I'm going to continue weaving till the end using the same method. All right, and I'll meet you here. So when you get to the end, okay, we have weaved the first line. So when you get to the end, you are going to go into the last 2 beads at the end. Okay, with my right fishing line, I'm going to go into this last 2 beads, the last from the bottom and the last at the top. Okay, please just keep watching. These are the last 2 beads. So my fishing line will automatically be in 3 beads. I'm going to pick up 1 bead and cross it over. Then I'll pull. I pull it down. So we are done with the first line. We are going to weave the second line. Okay, my right fishing line is going into the next 1 bead at the top. With that same fishing line I inserted, that same right fishing line, I'm going to add my 2 beads or fix my 2 beads, and then I'm going to cross with the second bead. So we are weaving to the left direction. Okay, into the next 1 bead in front, whilst on the back fishing line I'll keep adding my two beads, and then we are going to end up with 1 bead at the end. I know you can do this. Okay, so we have it done on both sides, and this is our complete bag. We are going to join both sides together to complete our bag. Okay, so you place them side by side. Please do not forget to choose an odd number for this project. Okay, so I'll insert my fishing line on one side of the bag, and on the back fishing line I'll add 1 bead, insert it on the other side of the bag. Then I'll pick up 1 bead. Okay, I'll pull it out first. Make sure this bead is sitting properly in the middle. Okay, as you can see, this is how we join our beaded bags. I'll pick up 1 bead and I'm going to cross it and pull. Okay, I'll cross the 1 bead and pull. All right, so my right fishing line, I'll insert it into the next 1 bead in front as well as the left fishing line. So I'm going to insert it into the next one bead in front, same as the left fishing line. I'm going to pick up one bead and I'll cross it over and pull. So if you do not know how to join your beaded bag, this is how you join your beaded bag, okay? So I'm going to continue to weaving it using the same method, all right, until the end. So guys, I'm done weaving and this is what we have, this cute beaded bag. So this is what we have. You can make it bigger, but please make sure you're choosing an odd number, okay? So we are going to tack in the sides, okay? So we want to shape the sides. If you count, we have 5 lines on this side. So this is the middle bead. We are going to push that inside, okay? So this bead that is facing downward, okay? You insert your fishing line. Just keep watching. And the top fishing line, I'll insert one bead. And I'm going to go into this bead that is facing downward. So you have 3 beads in the middle, okay? 3 beads in the middle. So the bead on the side, I'll insert my fishing line like this. I'm going to pick up one bead. I'm going to pick up one bead and I'll cross it over and pull, okay? We want to shape the sides of our bag. So I'll pull like this. We are going to go into the next one beat downward on that straight line, okay? The right to go to the right, the left to go to the left downward. So this is where your fishing lines will be. Okay, we just need 3 beads to shape the sides of our bag, and this is the last bead. When I cross it over and pull, I'm going to weave in this leftover fishing line back to the top so that we can start weaving our back handle right here in the middle, okay? So if you see the middle, we have 4 beads here in the middle, okay? So I've shaped both sides and I've weaved my fishing lines back to the top. We are going to use them to make our back handle, okay? So I've weaved the back handle on one side. Let's weave our back handle on the other side together. So my fishing line is on this bead. Remember, we are weaving on the 4 beads inside, okay? These 4 beads inside. We are weaving right here, okay? So your fishing line should be in any of the 4 beads, all right? So on my left fishing line, I'll pick up my 3 beads and add it into my fishing line, cross with the last bead and pull. I'm going to go into the next one bead on that square. We are weaving through the 4 beads. I'm going into the next one bead on that square. Whilst on the back fishing line, this is still a simple beaded mat. On the back fishing line, I'll add 2 beads. Remember, when you're weaving your mat, you start with 3 beads, continue with 2 beads. So this is still a simple beaded mat, all right? I'll cross it and pull. I'm going to go into the 3rd bead on that square. Into the 3rd bead. On my back fishing line, still I will add my 2 beads. I'll add my 2 beads and cross with the 2nd bead and pull. Cross with the 2nd bead and pull. I'm going to go now into the last bead on that square. Sorry about this, guys. I'm going to go into the last bead on that square and into the first bead we added, the first 3 beads we added. So I'm going into that first bead we added. Okay, so you have your fishing lines like this. You pick up one bead and you are going to cross it over and pull. Okay, so you have another square of 4. Let's do this one more time, okay? We are weaving on that square. On my left fishing line, I'll add my 3 beads. I'm going to cross with the last bead and pull. I'm going to go into the 2nd bead on that square, into the 2nd bead on that square. Okay, I'm going to pick up my 4 beads. Sorry, I'll pick up my 2 beads, add it into that fishing line. and cross with the second bead. I'm going into the third bead on that square, into the third bead. I'm going to pick up my 2 beads again. I'll add it to my left fishing line. I'll cross it over and pull, and I'm going to go into the last bead on that square and into this first bead we added, and I'm going to end this with 1 bead, and this is how you're going to weave your back handle. Okay, see how simple that is. So before I join my back handles like this, so I'll urge you to weave half on both sides, then you can join. I'm going to first insert my zip so that I don't face trouble trying to when I'm done with the handle. Okay, so let's just fix our zip first. So I'm going to place it right there. Okay, I'll fold it inward so that I can tack it. All right, I'm going to tack it like this. I'll just get my fishing line, put it in my needle. I'll first tack it before I place it onto the bag like this. Okay, we are going to start stitching it like this. But first and foremost, let's tack the zipper, the upper part of the zipper. Okay, so I'll just do this off camera. I'm done with it. So I'm going to place it in. I'm going to place it in. Okay, so I'm not placing it right at the end. I'm going to place it here. Okay, so this is where my fishing line is. I'm going to sew it towards the beads outside like this. Okay, please just keep watching. I'm going to go into this bead over here. It's very simple to sew your zipper to your bag. So I'm going into this bead over here. I'm going to go into the zipper. Please make sure you're stitching below the zip line so that your zip will close properly. Okay, please, this is not the perfect zip for this bag. Okay, so please make sure you are getting a good zipper for your bag. This is the option I had at home, so I just used it for this tutorial. Okay, so I will stitch it inward like this. I'll stitch it inward like this. Okay, and then I'm going to go into the next bead. This is all about the weaving, and if you are attaching a lining to your bag, okay, this is how you attach your lining to your bag. All right, you stitch it in and out, in and out, just like that. So when you go in, you stitch it out. So I'm going to stitch it out like this. Please make sure you're stitching below the zipper. Okay, make sure you're stitching below the zipper. I'll stitch it out like this, and then I'm going to go into the next bead. All right, I'm going to go into the next bead. When stitching your zipper, please do not pull the zip. Okay, just let it sit on your back properly. If you pull, you're going to have the zip is not going to sit properly on your back. When you're stitching, please don't pull too much. Okay, so this is how you stitch your zip. You go in and out. I'm going in. I'm going to stitch it out. I will stitch it out. I'm not really good with needles because I have very sweaty palms, so usually my sister do the needle work for me. Okay, so I'm going to go out and then into the next bead. Okay, into the next bead. It is that simple. So you use the same method to fix lining onto your bag, okay, or into your bag. So I'm going to do the rest off camera and I'll show you the finished work. So this is the zipper. All right, I told you this is not really the best zipper for this bag. It's quite hard. This is used for jeans, but anyways, we have our zipper done. We are going to now design the body of the bag. Okay, so I'll just zip it out. Okay, I'm zipping out the zip so that I can place my hands inside whilst fixing the design for the bag. So I'll insert my fishing line into this bead. I don't want to start from the first bead where we just made a zipper. I want to start from the second line so that you can see it done properly. Okay, so I'll insert my fishing line like this into this first bead over here. Okay, the beads that are facing sideways. Okay, just keep watching. So I weave the leftover inside the body of the bag, and we need just one line. Please make sure it's very long. Okay, so I'm going to take my blue crystals. I'll pick 6 and fix them into the fishing line. Okay, so I'm going to skip the second bead. I'll insert it into the third bead. Okay, I'll skip the second bead. Nope, I'll insert it into the third bead. Please keep watching. All right, the first line is different from the second line. So when I insert it, this is what I have. Okay, this is what you have. All right, so since I'm using 2 colors, this one I'm going to be using 8 beads because it is size 4. But if you are using the same size 6, please use 6 beads throughout. You have it done properly. So I added 8. I'm going to skip the next bead and I'm going into the next bead in front. So you make sure you skip 1 bead in the middle. Okay, so I used 4 millimeters so that it can match with the 6 millimeters. Okay, that's basically what I did. I just wanted 2 colors, but I couldn't have it all in the same sizes. So it's the same thing I'm doing. You skip 1 bead and then you move on to the next bead. So weave it all round the bag, and then I'll meet you at the same point, this first bead that we started. Okay, I'll meet you here because the next line we are going to be placing them in the middle. So this is the first bead. This is what I've done. I weaved all around. This is the first line and I've arrived at this first bead again. I inserted into that first bead. Please watch how we are going to place it in between. Okay, so my fishing line, and we are not going to start from the beginning because we are placing in the middle. Okay, I'm going to weave it down and into the side bead. It's very simple. I'm going to start from this bead here in the middle. So since my fishing line is here, I'm going to weave it into this bead down, and I'm going to go into the side bead. Please just keep watching. My fishing line is in the first bead where we started. I'm going into the next bead downward like this, as you can see, and I'm going to go into the next bead on the side. That is all about the bag. So each time you arrive at your starting point, you go downward and into the next bead on the side. Okay, so I have arrived on the side. We are not starting from the first line. I've arrived at the side. So you keep adding your beads. Okay, so I added my 6 beads. I'm going to skip the next bead. I'm going into the next bead in front. Okay, you skip 1 bead in the middle. So the part for the zipper, I'm going to do that later. I just wanted you to follow up properly. So this is what you do. So I'm placing it in the middle. As you can see, this line is in between the gold and the blue. So we'll be placing the next lines in the middle. As you follow this step, you are going to find yourself doing it without stress because all the lines are going to fall in place. So this is the second line. I've weaved all around. As you can see, they are being placed in the middle. Okay, so we have arrived at this starting point. I'm going to weave it down again and into the side bead. So as you keep going down, your line will be shifting inward, but you still arrive at the same spot. Okay, so I'm placing it in the middle. If I place the next line of beads will be placed in the middle. That's all about it. All right, so I've gone into the next one bead down and into the next one bead on the side, as you can see. So we are maintaining now the first line. Automatically it's going to maintain like this. So please, that's why I said use an odd number for the mat of your bag to get it beautifully done. So this is what you do. It's so simple, very easy to make, and this is the beautiful bag, beautifully done. As you can see, use any color of your choice. So we are going to fix the back handle. Okay, we are going to design the back handle. All right, I've done it all around. So we are going to go ahead and design the back handle, which is very simple to make as well. Okay, so for the back handle, I have my strings. I just string in my two colors as I used in the body. So you can string it like this on two separate strings. Okay, then I tie them in the middle. So I'm going to untie this so that we can fix it on the back handle. So you have your strings like this. I'm going to weave them into the back handle to make it sit up properly on the back handle. So weave this in as many times as you can to make it sit properly on your back handle. Okay, so I'll weave in these fishing lines into the back handle. So this is what I have. When you have it like this, you just go ahead and twist it around, and then you wrap it around the back handle like this. Okay, you wrap it around the back handle. Whilst you wrap, you twist. Okay, you twist it around and then you wrap it around your back handle. You can make it as long as you want. If you want it chunky, go ahead and make it as chunky as you want. So just continue to twist until when you arrive at the end, you are going to weave in this fishing line too. Also at the end of the back handle, you are going to repeat the same thing, weave the leftover fishing line into the back handle. And this is our beautiful bag, beautifully done. It is so beautiful and it's very easy to make. You can fix it with or without a zipper. That is why I made two designs. This is the red design without a zipper, and I made it halfway through. The blue has a zipper. This one doesn't have any zipper on it. So for the back handles, the blue back handle is smaller than the red, because the red back handle I used 6mm beads throughout, 6mm crystal beads throughout, whilst the blue I mixed 6mm and 4mm. So thank you guys for watching. This is a beautiful tutorial. Thank you for always stopping by. God bless you all. I will see you in my next video. Bye.